Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. All right.
Great.
I wanted to get everybody into rhythm because life is like a symphony. It has high notes and it has those dark low notes. The high notes, you're celebrating, just won a football championship, baby's born, you're in it, you're happy, everything is all right. Low notes feel like shit. Low notes kick you in the nuts. Somebody just left you, somebody just died. We fight to try to stay away from the low notes and we only celebrate the high notes. But in a symphony, you can't just only have high notes. It's flow, it's up, it's down, and it is a rhythmic motion of life. And that's why it's so important to celebrate both notes. We want to start with the low notes.
It was 2014. I was unstoppable. I had all the energy in the world. I was entrepreneurial. I was living my dream, but I was still employed. And I was starting side hustle after side hustle, and none of them worked out. I had a wake of failed businesses behind me. And I convinced myself that the reason that none of these businesses have worked out is because I've never put both feet in the boat and lowered the safety net and gone all in. I had a cushy, nice-paying engineering job, and I began to resent it. It was that moment where I said, I gotta go all in. I had this great idea for an app, and I'm gonna build the plane as I'm gliding down. So I left, and the feeling was incredible. You see, a missile can't change course until it's launched. Now, this was 2014, and I had planned for hardship. I had saved up a bunch of money, a year's worth of cash to live off. There was one small problem, though. Being from Calgary, a heavy oil city, all my cash was in oil stocks. And in 2014, oil went negative, and my stocks went negative. So that year's worth of capital turned into 6 months, and 6 months came real quick. At the ripe age of 30, I had to cash out my RSPs because I was tired of eating Costco hot dogs. For the first time in my life, I was looking at this business and it completely imploded as well. The app I wanted to design completely fell apart. A competitor came in, crushed my idea, did it better than I could have even imagined. I had to wave the white flag. And it was at that point that I was beating myself up. I felt like such a failure. And for the first time in my life, I actually got to experience what real depression feels like, where you can't even get out of bed. I wasn't sleeping, I was exhausted. The sun would be shining, but there was personal rain clouds everywhere I went. One day, I got up into the shower. I was so exhausted because I had to sleep. The best time to solve your world's problems is at 3 a.m. I wasn't sleeping, and I remember I had something important to do that day, so I had to get myself together. I was in the shower. I was just exhausted, and I just leaned up against the wall. And I just didn't want to even face the day, and I can't explain it, but that moment I collapsed. I completely gave in and broke. I was laying on the floor, and I have no idea how long I was out, but all I remember is water hitting my chest. My lungs filled with air. I could feel my heart pump. I wasn't worrying about the future. I wasn't regretting the past. I was just breathing, feeling water in my face and air in my lungs and blood in my veins. And something came to me. And it was the words, I am powerful. And even though I didn't feel it, I kept saying it to myself. And that day, I looked outside and I noticed the sun shining. I heard birds chirping. And I sat down on my couch and I had a cup of green tea. And I had never been so grateful for this warm cup of tea in the condo that I own where there's people drinking out of mud puddles, and here I am, self-loathing. I snapped out of it, and it was the gratitude that I felt that broke the cycle. Now, the highs started to go up, and so did the lows, but don't get me wrong, it was still a zigzag, but the highs were higher and the lows were higher, and it was gratitude that brought me back to life.
Absolutely. For me, I was a gym owner, and a lot of you guys are probably school owners here, right? You know what it's like when you're running a business. Your business associates, your clients, everybody becomes family, right? You put everything into these people, you give it everything you got. And when you start, you're like, man, I'm gonna be retired by 30, driving a Lambo, listening to Tupac in California, chilling with Sifu Singh. It doesn't quite work out like that. Times got tough, lease went up, barely be able to pay the people at the place, get a call from the government, we audited you, you gotta pay 10K tomorrow. Figure out the 10K, we gotta figure out how to do this. Regardless, what happens is like, I'm on the verge of bankruptcy. And I remember going up to the gas station, sitting there at an empty tank. Like, damn, can't fill this tank of gas. Called my mom. I said, Mom, can you wire me some money? Need to fill up this tank of gas, I can't get anywhere. And it was rough. It's one of those dark feelings and dark moments where you're like, am I good enough? Can I make it through? Can I get through this? All those things I thought I was gonna be, all these dreams I had, everything that I thought I was gonna be, it just got proven wrong. And I said, man, I'm in the dumps right now. How am I going to get from this place right there to something where I can be somebody, or where I think I'm successful? And I came up with this thought. No matter what you do in those moments of time, you cannot rely on others to bring you up from there. You have to create beacons. What a beacon is something that you can set out in the future, that you can move towards no matter what situation is in front of you. For me, I knew I could always hit a workout. Health was a beacon of mine. I could focus on my fitness, I could go for walks, it would pull me out. Wealth was, I just hit bankruptcy. You can always work on saving, always work on building your war chest, always work on providing for yourself, for your family, always building from zero. Relationships was big. Now, not relationships in the way that Sifu Singh said, I love you, you're expecting I love you back. Relationships in the way like, I got nobody right now. Let me talk to somebody in a coffee shop. Let me go smile at somebody on the street. Let me see if I can build relationships around me. And creation. Creation is so important. When you create, something magical happens. It is what we're put on this earth to do. We're put on this earth to grow and create.
Now, Kyle and I haven't always been best friends. I knew of Kyle. I had some real respect for him. I heard of all these cool businesses he had started, and we were mutual friends with another gentleman, and he booked a trip to go to Montreal. Boys trip. Let's go party in Montreal. So we all booked our tickets. Everyone bailed out, and Kyle and I had already paid for our tickets. And I looked at Kyle, I'm like, man, you still want to go?
Absolutely.
I mean, I kind of know you. You're pretty cool, but let's just go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Got smokes, let's go.
So we went to Montreal, just Kyle and I. And the funny thing is, the very first thing that Kyle and I did was bust out the cameras and document the experience and share it for no other reason other than sharing the experience.
Second thing we did. First thing, Eric had to smile at all the girls.
Correct. And so after that trip, we just vibed, we connected, and we started training together. At my dojo, Sensei Jay Creasy, we were training ninjutsu, and he was always talking about Budo, the warrior's way, being a warrior of light and serving your community and traveling the path that is filled with adversity.
So I had a great idea. Both being entrepreneurs, both training together, like we should start a business.
What do we know about starting a random e-commerce brand.
Totally. So we came up with some ideas. We're like ninja guys, like cool guys doing sweet shit. Like, yeah. And then we came up with Budo Brothers.
And that was it. When I heard Kyle say, I was like, what should we call it? He's like, Budo Brothers. I'm like, oh, that's got a ring to it.
Heck yeah.
Let's go. But how are we going to do it? I'm broke, you're broke. We've been licking our runes from our previous failures. So I rounded up $500. Kyle rounded up $500, and we made ourselves a challenge. We said for $1,000 in startup capital, can we sell something to someone we do not know on the internet?
So I was like, all right, let's come up with like a cashmere martial arts gi, looking fresh, all the pants doing like, just going over the top with it. And we went and talked to the suppliers.
Bro, we only have $1,000,
Yes.
okay? That's gonna get us a sample.
So we started off with a hanbo, which in Japanese martial arts is a 3-foot stick, okay? We had a 3-foot stick, but we treated this thing like it was an Apple launch. Ladies and gentlemen, the hanbo! We put so much love and attention and energy into selling a stick on the internet that we actually sold a stick on the internet. Could you imagine going up to a professional with a business plan and being like, excuse me, we'd like to get a capital investment. Our plan is to sell sticks on the internet. You would get laughed out of the room. And could you imagine how hard it is sliding into somebody's DM with stick pics? Like, it's not an easy thing.
It doesn't always work.
Yes.
But this restriction turned into the biggest blessing and the biggest asset, because it required us to put on our white belts and learn everything. I had no idea how to edit videos or build a website or do social media marketing or any of it. But with the white belt mentality, the obstacle is the opportunity. We don't know what we don't know, but let's go learn and find out and grow.
And you could tell we're both passionate guys. Like, we just love loving, you know? We're out there, we love big energy, and we have a lot of passion. But it's not until we match the passion with service till we found our purpose. Passion plus service equals purpose. And it was one of the most fundamentally ground-changing things that we ever discovered. And sometimes we come across people on our journey and they feel lost. They're like, man, I don't know what to do. I want to find my purpose. I want to find out why I'm here. The answer is not easy. It's there. It's everywhere around you, but you can't hear it because the world's so busy. Phones are ringing. People are talking to you. Energy is being sucked away from you at all moments. There's a term, GTA. It's not a video game. Grand theft of attention. Everybody is out for your attention. That's why the stillness practice works. When you're still and you listen to that little voice inside of you, magic happens. It's when you start finding what you're passionate about. When you find what you're passionate about, make it your goal to serve others. Help people first. Give yourself to them without any expectation in return, and you might be blessed with finding your purpose.
The quickest way to living a life of joy is being a warrior of light and serving others. That's Joy-Jitsu. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.